Dana Smith, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Haley Ruiz, and I'm a freshman.
And we attend Shelby County High School. So we are doing our documentary on Generation Z. Generation Z is the generation we were born into. It is from 2004 to about now, or a couple years ago. We did our documentary on technology.
We interviewed 4 different people, and those interviews showed us that there are benefits and problems of technology and Generation Z.
We thought that there was a benefit and a problem when we were making this documentary, which is why we made it, to show you guys that every generation faces a different problem, and ours is technology, and it's going to be a problem until the day we die. So we hope that you learn from this documentary that it is a benefit and a problem, and that you see Generation Z who we really are.
Our documentary is based on is has technology made Gen Z better or worse?
We interviewed 4 different people for 4 different kinds of technology. We did communication technology, as in like communicating with a phone or like email. We did medical technology, like when you go to the doctor, or like when they take your heart rate or your blood pressure, what they use. We did social media technology, like the different apps that you can use to use social media within your phone. And then we also did transportation technology, like how you can use your phone to track an airplane or to request a plane, or how you can get in your car and put a place in your GPS and it can get you somewhere.
In this next video, you are going to see Bradley Poe, who is a senior. We interviewed him about social media. Number one, he is very smart. He knows what he's talking about, and we knew that his answers would be very good for our documentary. Here are some of the questions that we asked him.
We asked him how social media affected Gen Z and our generation today, and how like the downsides and like the good things about it. And his answers were very accurate.
We're very pleased with his answers, so thank you, Bradley, and we hope you enjoy this next clip.
My name is Bradley Poe, and I am a senior at the Shelby County High School.
So I'm going to be asking you questions about Generation Z. Do you think technology has improved or worsened Gen Z?
I think it's improved greatly since a few years.
Do you think social media has ruined Gen Z?
I wouldn't say that it's ruined it. I would think that it's created a new community with social media.
Why is social media important to our generation?
Well, with social media, we're able to talk to people around the world and such, like you'd never imagine that someone from Kentucky could speak to someone over in like Asia or something. Like, it's crazy,
How does social media affect Gen Z?
Well, it does pretty much everything for us nowadays, we're able to communicate to people, we're able to build communities, we can make, like, people have started to become entrepreneurs using social media and such, influencing the people and all that. Yeah.
So is there a downside to social media?
There are downsides to everything. You have, well, with social media, there's been awareness of cyberbullying and such, and just, yeah.
But with that, do you think there's a benefit?
Yeah, there's benefits to, there's downgrades and benefits to everything in life. Especially with social media, people, like I said, they can start their lives there, they can talk to people that they've never met before, and create families and all that, I don't know.
Thank you so much.
On average, teens spend about 3 to 4 hours on social media each day. This can affect them in good and bad ways.
Depending on how teens use social media, it can be good or bad because it can affect their IQ level by bringing them down, but it can also bring it up by researching and reading off facts that they see all the day through social media.
In this next clip, you're going to see Ashley Fishback. She is our biomed teacher here at Shelby County. She is very medically smart, and she knows what she's talking about. She's also very young, so it was easier for us to relate to her answers.
So her answers really benefit us because she's closer to our age group, which means that she's closer to our generation. So her answers really helped us understand what Gen Z would think about it.
Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Do you think that technology has improved or worsened Gen Z?
Medical technology?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that some medical technology has kind of made you more aware of things. I know like smartwatches, they give you your heart rate, your steps, those kinds of things. That's a piece of medical technology I think a lot of people don't think about. I think a lot of kids don't have to worry too much about big health problems. There are those in your generation that have, issues like leukemia and some very serious issues. But I think that medical technology in general has improved and kind of made you more aware of your health and how that goes about.
How is medical technology a benefit for us?
So medical technology is a benefit, and I mentioned, like smartwatches, just making you more aware of what is my heart rate, how many steps am I getting in the day, am I sitting too much? Mine even tells me like, hey, take a second, relax, breathe. And so I think that's really important for us to be mindful of that. But I also think, so there is medical technology that, especially, students who might have type 1 diabetes, there's a lot of improvements that have been made with apps to help you record blood sugar and all of that. There are a lot of ways that we've incorporated those medical devices just into our everyday lives. Even calorie trackers and things like that with those different apps, it's very accessible and easy to do. And so that's been a real benefit.
Do you remember a time without as much technology, medical technology?
Yes. I'm not that old, but the smartphone and the smartwatches have really helped people be aware of their health, their calories, their steps, all of that kind of stuff. Even in today's hospitals, I'm sure if you ever go into an emergency room, nurses are typing things into a computer. They're not having files. They don't have to do stuff on paper. Things are a little more quick. They can get lab results very quickly. And so in the past, that has always taken more time. So you go to the doctor's office or to a hospital and they take lab results. Well, then you go to the doctor's office. Well, they don't have the lab results the hospital had. But now with this sharing of material and sharing of information, that doctor can automatically have the results from that lab that was done at the hospital. And so that's kind of a big difference, is how quickly we can get information and how well information is communicated across medical professionals.
For our last question, is there a downside to medical technology?
Yes, so with that sharing of information, there is actually a law put in place called HIPAA, and I can tell you what that stands for, but I forgot off the top of my head. But HIPAA basically gives regulations on how information can be shared. And so when we have this sharing of files, sharing of medical data, there can be a problem with that in that, okay, let's say maybe your health insurance company gets some of that data, or, and your rates go down or things like that, or maybe somebody hacks into the system and they have access to your medical data. And some of that data is very private. If somebody has, an STD, that's something they maybe want to keep to themselves or only want to share with specific people. And so that sharing of information can be a great thing because it's so quick, but that sharing of information can also open it up to sharing information you don't necessarily want shared with everyone. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Medical technology is a huge benefit in Gen Z because it helps with medical issues and health problems throughout all ages.
We are very thankful that medical technology has advanced so that we can use it in our generation now.
The next person that we interviewed is Julie Webb, and she's our school librarian. And we thought talking to her about communication was very beneficial.
Miss Webb has been here for such a long time, and every time I need help with work or a personal problem, I always just go right to her. She knows what she's talking about, and she cares, and she'll support you. So we especially wanted to interview her because we knew that she would give us the answers that we needed to be successful for our documentary.
What do you think the best way to communicate is?
I think it depends on the situation. I think that if it's something quick that doesn't require any type of nuanced response, I think texting is great. I love to text because I can get information back and forth quickly, and I don't really have to stop what I'm doing in order to get information. But I think texting's got a place. Professionally, email is one of the best ways to communicate because you can think about what you want to say carefully and send it. And then when somebody responds, you can think about it before you respond back. So in one way, that's better than face-to-face because sometimes we talk before we think and we say things we don't mean to say, we didn't mean to say. So email's great for that, but it's also got problems because sometimes people can misinterpret something that you typed in a way that you didn't intend. When it comes to relationships that matter, personal relationships that matter, I think that face-to-face communication is always best because I think that there's a level of intimacy that comes with the face-to-face communication, and when you are required to speak with someone face-to-face, you better be sure you mean what you say and that you care enough about it to say it, and I think that kind of builds relationships well. So I think it really depends on the purpose of the communication.
When do you think that, when was the first time that you got a phone?
I remember specifically when I first asked for a cell phone. I was 26 years old, and I had twin babies. And I was caught in a rainstorm, and I had to get those babies in their car seats out of the car. I was lost, and carry them into a gas station in the rain, in the storm, to find a payphone to call my husband so that he could tell me how to get where I was trying to go. And I remember saying into that phone, I've got to get a cell phone because I can't do this with these babies. I was 26.
How was life before you got a phone different from after you got a phone?
Well, you couldn't communicate very easily. So there were things that you all take for granted that we just had workarounds. I carried those kids into the convenience store, and I used a payphone. So I still was able to get a hold of my husband. It just wasn't very convenient. Information was not readily available to us. If we wanted to know something, what time a ball game started, or where the concert was, or such, you had to go to a library. You had to ask somebody, you had to read the newspaper. Information was available, it was just not as readily available as it is now. So we still got the information. We didn't know everybody's business like you do now, like we do now, where people post everything about their lives on their phones. And the only way somebody knew anything happens to somebody else is if they chose to tell you. So your business was your business, very personal. People's lives were very private and very personal. And as opposed to now where everything is very, very public, and you have to deal with difficult situations in a public way. And we didn't have to do that. We didn't have to deal with everybody knowing everything because nobody knew anything unless you told them. So communication was more private, more intimate, because you only knew things if somebody told you.
For our last question, do you think there's a downfall to communication through telephones?
Oh, absolutely. Kind of back to the point I was making before, I think that everything is very public now. And we give into that, you don't have to post your life on social media, but it's kind of expected. It's kind of expected from people that you're going to post what you did tonight on Snapchat and Facebook, and you're going to communicate that. And if you don't, you feel like you're out of the loop a little bit. When the reality is, your life can still be very personal and private, and it doesn't have to be that way. So I think that is a pitfall, because sometimes I think we're forced to address things and deal with things that shouldn't have to address and deal with, because it should be private. Private matters should be private, and public matters should be public, and we need to be careful about what we choose to make public. And when everything's public, you're forced to deal with things that people really shouldn't have to deal with. And so I think that's a huge pitfall, the way we communicate now.
Thank you.
Because Gen Z was born into technology, communication is usually through social media, on our phone. As much as we wish it was face-to-face, because that's better communication, that's all we know. So the next clip you're going to see is an interview with my dad, Scott Smith. He works at Ford, so he's very smart with transportation, and that's what we interviewed him about. He is 52 years old, so yeah, he's old. But we thought it'd be very beneficial to interview him because he's older, and he would have a lot of background knowledge about like his first car and good information that could help us from like to compare car technology from then to now. So these are some of the questions that we asked him.
We're gonna ask him like when he had his first car, like what kind of car it was, and how it changed his life from before he got a car to after he got a car.
And to kind of compare his first car to the car he has now, he has a Ford truck now. He works at Ford, and it's so like there's so much technology within a car that it's so crazy to think that we used to have cars that didn't have technology. So we hope you enjoy this video and learn what it used to be like without technology. Do you think transportation has improved or worsened Generation Z?
It's definitely improved.
Why?
With the safety seatbelt laws, side air curtains, and airbags, had no choice but to improve.
When did you get your first car?
Got my first car in 1984.
What was it?
It's a 1972 Mustang short window.
When do you remember technology first being in a car?
2004.
Is there a downside to technology and transportation?
Yes.
What is that?
People have become very dependent on the GPS and navigation features in the vehicles and have lost their sense of direction and have a hard time functioning without it.
With that, do you think technology will continue to progress and improve?
Yes, I do.
Why is that?
As a nation and people, we have always progressed and improved, and technology has came light years from where it was back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, so we will improve.
Thank you.
Transportation has advanced over the years, and now in Gen Z, we have more technology and vehicles than ever before.
In conclusion from our documentary, we hope that you understand technology is both a disadvantage and a benefit to Generation Z.
We went around the school and asked 3 people 3 random questions about Gen Z and how it's made it better or worse.
So we hope you have enjoyed our video and that you will continue to enjoy these next couple of clips. How does Gen Z differ from all the other generations?
We different because we were born in technology.
Are you proud to be part of Gen Z?
Yes,
Why?
because we're so diverse from other generations.
Why is Generation Z so important to you?
Because that's my generation and I will always be Generation Z.
We thank everybody for being a part of our video and giving us information that's very beneficial. And a huge thank you to Bree because we couldn't have said it any better ourselves. Gen Z is our generation and we're always going to be a part of it. So thank you guys.
Sounds